Hello everybody, welcome to OCHD and welcome to another Kotodaman video. Today we are talking about the Tougen Anki collaboration event. The bingo that gives 1,000 gems as usual. We do have like a special anniversary celebration coming up after this. So we're expecting some gems and some goodies and potentially some more collabs, which will be nice. But we don't know a lot about that just yet, so let's focus on this for now. Stage 1, this is one of those events that has like the special story quest section. So a lot of events tied together as sort of like a map that you go around. And don't always get those in events, but we have got one here. And it's luckily relatively straightforward. Like the first, I would say 6-7 missions, pretty easy. I mean, like all the stages that we're going to be playing today, other than the final one, you should be able to clear in one turn. So as long as you have the right team set up, you should be able to clear in one turn. That's the kind of difficulty we're looking at. So pretty good. So pretty easy combo team setup. I don't think there was any gimmicks for this stage, so I didn't really know. I just picked a team randomly from my selection of teams, and we killed them in one hit. Easy peasy. I don't really know a lot about Tougen Anki. I didn't watch the first episode and I didn't really vibe with it that much, but I was wondering whether that was like a I should read the manga type thing. Like maybe I'm not with the anime. I don't know. You can see here for mission 2, we're still in that same section. There were 2 story quests in between mission 1 and mission 2. You just skip through those. You ain't even got to play them or anything. And then this stage here, now you have to clear this stage twice. And I do believe that it gives these coins, and you only need 200 of those coins total. You'll need 200. I think you need. It says 100 for mission 4, so you'll need at least 100. But I think there's, as far as I can recall, in the store, like the only thing of value you can purchase with his coins are the goldfishy items for one of the other free-to-play characters. So you only want to buy that. That costs 200. So if you do 2 runs, that should definitely clear it. I did a run of this stage with the item that boost drops, so I actually had enough after 1 run. But certainly you will have enough after 2 runs, and I did have to go back and clear this stage a second time anyway, because you need to clear it twice for the bingo board missions. So there you go. Mission 3 is the quiz. Technically you can't beat this. I said you could beat a lot of these stages in 1 turn. You can't beat this one in 1 turn, unfortunately. As we have been doing recently, I have got the answers in sort of the like text format. On the left side is like the first little bit of the question as it's written in Japanese, and then you match that up with what you see on your screen, and then on the right is the answer, and you match that up with what you see on your screen and you put it in there. This is from a Twitter account that posts the answers in this text format. Link to their account in the description. And I don't really know, other than like one of the answers to one of the questions is Momonofu. Other than that, I didn't really know anything about this series, so I didn't know what any of the answers were. So this format works better for me. It takes a lot less time. And don't forget that these questions are done in sort of sets, so I've actually cut them up. So there's 4 in set 1, 4 in set 2, and 2 in set 3. You'll be able to tell which set you're in based on what turn it is. Turns 1, 2, 3, and 4 are obviously set 1, and then 5, 6, 7, 8 are set 2, and then 9, 10 are set 3, and it will change the enemy you see during each set. And the questions, and therefore the answers, are randomized within their sets, so you could get any of these 4 on the side in any order, not necessarily the same order that I'm getting them in. But nothing really matters. You only need to get 2 right. That's how it always is. Thankfully, not too bad. Especially with the long answers. I always find the ones with the long answers, even though it's like a little bit, you know, you gotta like go and find the the hiragana and quickly switch them in and stuff. And if you're not too well versed with hiragana, that might be even more difficult. I find the longer answers easier because they give you more hints, so it's a lot clearer which question is being asked, which answer you need to be looking at. And there's a few in here. I mean, in set 2, there's 2 4 hiragana questions, or answers rather. So you will probably need to match up the questions there. But for most of the other ones, it's pretty obvious which answer you're looking at based on the hints, or based on the fact that there might only be 1 4 hiragana answer in that section. So it makes it a lot easier. So thankfully you don't need to learn everything you need to know about Tougen Anki. But I'm sure it does sort of help, especially if you know Japanese, or at least have a very, very good understanding of hiragana, enough to answer all these questions. But I don't. I can read what they say, sort of. But that doesn't really help me if I don't know what they're referring to, which in a lot of cases is the case. But I did know it was referring to Momotaro for the Momotaro question. For those who are unfamiliar with this series, which I think some will, some won't, because it's a seasonal. It's come out this season. I think it's just ended, so it was good timing for the collab to come out. It does make a lot of sense. The series has the backstory of the old fable of Momotaro, the boy born from a peach that was gathered a crew to defeat the Demon King and kill the demons. And this story continues in that same idea of that original story, except it's sort of flipped around. Like, we're sort of seeing things from the demons' perspective in a modern day. Like, all the demons have been hunted and are near extinction, sort of thing. And it's sort of like, well, okay, so like there's not many demons left, and it's like some of the demons are sort of sticking together, and they're sort of like, it's a weird dynamic of like, are the demons, you're watching it from their perspective, so is it like in the perspective of the story, are they the good guys, and the Momotaro family and descendants, are they the bad guys? I really like the idea. I don't know why I didn't enjoy the first episode. It might have just been the way it was animated, or it might have been I just wasn't feeling it that day. I don't know, but I have a feeling if I check out the manga, I will enjoy it. But I might give the anime another go. Episode 2, episode 3, see what happens. But yes, quiz done. I got 10 out of 10. If you did exactly what I said there, you get 10 out of 10. You don't need 10 out of 10. You need 2 out of 10. Mission 4. I was talking about this earlier. The Jin Kougasaki Medals. As you can see, there was only one thing in the store worth buying, and I bought it. And that's done. Mission 4 done. Mission 5. We're going back to this special story quest thing again. Moving straight on to stage 4. Stage 4 is actually a lower difficulty than the previous one we did. The like boss stage. So kind of weird. Kind of weird the way they've laid it out. There's also like way more stages in this event, but this first bingo doesn't really cover that many of them, which I found peculiar. There's like a whole other half to them basically, which I guess might be in the second page of the bingo, but we don't do those because those don't give gems, and we're here for the gems. So I was kind of just whatever. So I ran into this stage with any random team because it was listed as like beginner difficulty, and it's like, you're not going to be worried about debuffs, you're not going to be worried about type advantage, anything like that, and as you can see, nothing to worry about there. Easy peasy. And on we move to mission 6, again in that same section. This is the hardest stage that has come up so far. It is a super class stage, and therefore you might want to think about type advantages, you might want to think about debuffs. I think it's the spike debuff, but it's also bombs here. So I bought along some white units that probably wouldn't help that much in this stage, even though they do have type advantage. because the bomb is requiring you to use blue units. You can get away with it, as you will see that I absolutely do here. I don't even know how much damage the bomb or the spikes do because it's never an issue for me here. But if your account is maybe a lower level, doesn't have as much unit selection, so on and so forth, might be something to consider. Units that resist the spike damage, and mostly blue units you want to bring. Try and get rid of those bombs before they go off. I was thinking this stage is a little bit harder. I might not be able to do it in one turn, but then Momo just absolutely whacked him, and I was like, okay, we're gonna be okay. And that voice actor sounds so familiar. I'll have to look that up later. He sounds so familiar. Mission 6 done. Moving on to mission 7. Now this is the special key stage. We get a lot of these key stages in collaboration events. The keys will be in your gift box at the start of the event, so make sure to pick those up before going to do this mission. And this one, I felt a bit silly on this. It took me a few attempts. I've cut out the few attempts because it just looks silly. You can brute force this stage, by the way. You don't need to get the answer right. You could just keep attacking and eventually he will die. He's not going to be able to kill you, most likely. But it sets you those specific hiragana, and I couldn't work out what it was. And of course, it's the name of the protagonist. Ichinose Shiki. Or Shiki Ichinose. And I probably should have looked at that beforehand. I probably should have known that because I watched the first episode. But I didn't. So, there you go. Mission 7, complete. And then Mission 8 and 9 we'll do together, because Mission 9 is just creating words that use 4 hiragana or more 10 times. You would have done that numerous times throughout this event already, just doing the other stages of the bingo. But here, we have the great subjugation quest, Momonofu. And this is an interesting character because he is sort of tangentially related. He's Momotaro related, but he's actually not a character from Tougen Anki. They just decided to put this stage on at the same time. Now, there's 2 different kinds of stages that appear in this section. There's like the raid kind, and then there's like the subjugation quest, which is what this is. And you can see we've got like tasks that we have to complete, and completing those sort of will either buff us or deal significant damage to the opponent. And there's a bunch here. It's like characters from a certain class, and I think for most people the easiest class there is God class, and then I guess it's like human class. The human class is going to be a lot easier. Most collab units are from the human class, but also you want specific hiragana, so take a look at that before you start. You can check it before you start the stage, and try and bring along a few of each, a good number of each, I would say, because the stages are going to be specifically set up for you to put those hiragana in to get combos off. So you're going to want to have a decent number of those along with you, and I think other than that you don't really need much else. I mean, like, there are, yes, okay, stage debuffs. You will see balloon debuff later. You have the hammer debuff here, and the hammer debuff does do decent damage, but as long as you're hitting combos, you're not going to have to worry about that, because you're going to get all that health back. So, shouldn't be an issue. And plus, he is going to be much less intimidating, because he won't be able to attack once you actually defeat him. The way these stages work, it's 8 turns, so you are going to have to play out those 8 turns. But once he's defeated, even though you're still playing out those 8 turns, he's not going to be able to do much to you. So that's the benefit, and that's why you want to get these big bonus damage off. You can see I got a few specials off, and it did like a half decent amount of damage. But the real damage comes in with these bonuses, ticking off these bonuses. Some of these, it will just be like, here's a mission, do it, like use these hiragana, and then it's done. And sometimes it's like, it will show, do this 5 times, and then you clear it, and it will show the next stage of the mission. And it'll be like, do this 5 times or 10 times or whatever. So once you, obviously all the characters in my team are hero units. So I'm really, human units, I guess. So I'm really not that bothered about the one about using units of a certain class, because they are all the same class and they are all eligible for this. But on other stages, you might find that it has a mix and it becomes a lot more difficult. Fortunately, this is a particularly easy one, which is great for the bingo. And you can see there, I pressed the like green button there to switch up my hand, just because I was trying to make sure I got as many of the hiragana that I need to use done as soon as possible. Because once that's done, it's out of your head and you can just do whatever combos you want. But bear in mind, you only have a limited amount of times you can shuffle your hand back into your deck. And the issue you might find, which I found here, is that in later sections of the stage, you may have trouble putting together combos, because the hiragana you need might have been shuffled out of your hand and you're just kind of stuck with what you're stuck with and you can't shuffle again. But as long as he's dead, that's fine. To be honest, for this mission, you only need to challenge this stage one time. You don't even need to beat it. You don't even need to. I mean, technically, even if you lose, that still counts as you having done something, because it's all about your points total. So the points total at the top, even if that was like 20 or 30, and then he killed you, still technically you've done something. So technically it's like you've cleared the stage, but also not really, because he's beaten you. But obviously you want to beat him. So try your best. It's not, as far as these types of stages go, this is one of the easiest ones I've seen them do, which is great. These can get quite difficult. They could put in some really difficult to use hiragana. They could make you use classes of units that you're just going to have none of. I mean, if you're like me, and you typically go for like the collab units and stuff, it's going to be mostly a certain kind of unit. Mostly the human class units. And so it might ask you to use like beast units, or it might ask you to use god units or demon units or whatever. And you just might not have the cards to make a decent deck for it. Like, because it's not just about having those class of units, you also need to think about debuffs, which are not too bad in this stage, but can be very bad. And also just the overall coverage, the hiragana, how it all fits together and all that stuff. So it's the potential for these stages to be difficult is very high, and I think I was very happy to see that this one was easy. In fact, this entire bingo was easy. I'm very grateful for that. They've been doing that a lot more recently. There's been a lot less like massive, you know, go fuck yourself stages. I mean, typically with the anime collabs, it's not as difficult anyway. But sometimes with these 1000 gem bingos on like the original events, they will just throw a stage in it that is ridiculously hard. And it will just be like, you just have to challenge it. But like, I feel like I should at least try and beat it for the sake of the video. And sometimes, yeah, it can be pretty tough. But it's been a while since there's been one where I was like, I can't beat this. But even if it's like a real slog for me to beat, or it's like 10, 20 turns for me to beat the stage, then I feel like there'll be people watching who have much less stacked accounts, and they're going to be like, oh, this is a bit much. But as long as the mission is to challenge rather than to clear, I don't think it's a big deal. But I do think like the other versions of these stages, the raid ones, I find those ones quite interesting, because they are quite good in terms of you just come in and do your one run a day, and after a few days you'll have the unit complete. But on the other hand, I do prefer being able to do it all in one day if I've forgotten or I've left it till the last minute, which sometimes happens with these events. But yeah, they're integrating these types of events more often, and it's kind of cool. But you can see we cleared the missions, and based on our point total, we get the drops. And I did actually get into max luck from this, but obviously there's more farming to be done to max out his skills and stuff. So, bingo board cleared, all done. The one sticking point I would say that you might forget is that for mission 2, you do need to do 2 runs. You might accidentally use a boosted drop like I did on that stage, and then you might only do one run and be like, "What? The mission's cleared." That was the one that almost got me. I remembered it last minute, but big up all cleared. And of course, for clearing the quiz, which we did earlier, you get a free single summon, which is cool. Guaranteed to be a Tougen Anki unit, 95% around there chance to be the 4-star, but you still got that small chance that it will be one of the brand spanking new 5-star gacha units. But when you see that tree, you know the odds are you're probably getting the 4-star. Now, I don't have a lot of gems, and I'm definitely not going in on this event, and I'm definitely not going to start reading or watching this series until it's gone, so I don't get tempted to summon on it. But one multi can't hurt, right, guys? One multi can't hurt. They just gave me 1,000 gems. They gave me more than 1,000, technically, because there was a bunch of other goodies from clearing some of the stages they put out. So, full moon, very good sign. Guaranteed 2 5-stars at least. And then you just see if you get the Tougen Anki special animation. You do, so that's good. 2 5-stars. So one of these is guaranteed to be a Tougen Anki unit. Both of them could be, but one of them is guaranteed. I believe that guy's name is Rokuro. And there was the other 5-star, and it was sadly random dupe of an original character. But that's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.